I'm Alex Stone, former military service member and law enforcement officer. Now CEO of Echelon Protected Services, one of the fastest growing private security firms on the West Coast. And this is Ride Along, where our guest and I witness firsthand the issues affecting our community. I believe our proven method of enacting meaningful change through compassion and understanding is the best way to make our streets a safer place and truly achieve security through community.
I'm Kevin Dahlgren. I've been doing homeless street outreach for over 28 years now, primarily in Portland, Oregon. I'm also a drug and alcohol counselor, and I've worked in this system for a couple decades. And I'm here with Alex today, and we're about to do some boots on the ground street homeless outreach, engage with the homeless, hopefully find some people wanting to talk with us, ready for change, and help them get off the streets today.
Hey, welcome to the Ride Along. I'm Alex Stone, your host, CEO of Echelon Protected Services. We're here today with actually a really good friend, not just a guest, Kevin Dahlgren. We call him the Houseless Whisperer. He is the guru. He is the individual who has the secret sauce on the street and dealing with the houseless initiatives, individually, one-on-one, but also up in Big Salem here in Oregon. That's our capital. Kevin, why don't you introduce yourself and tell the folks who you are and what you do?
I appreciate it, brother. So yeah, Kevin Dahlgren. Worked in social services, primarily in Portland, Oregon, the last 28 years.
Wow.
So since the 1990s.
That's hard time.
It was hard time. I served some hard time. I worked at the city, the county, the state, nonprofit, for-profit, and faith-based over the last 28 years. So what I say is I have a really strong understanding how the system works and how it really doesn't work, how we communicate and don't communicate. That, of course, I would say is the biggest dysfunction with our system, is that, you know, the counties and the cities do not know how to communicate. Nonprofits have no idea how to talk to counties. Faith-based, oftentimes are left alone and doing some solid work and completely ignored.
Yep.
Basically, nobody's talking to anybody, but everyone's basically doing the same job.
Completely siloed. The entire industry.
Completely siloed.
Every sector. They're siloed within the sectors, and the sectors themselves are siloed from each other.
Yep. And I really watched over time as this cause, this legitimate cause, became this now billion-dollar industry. And it didn't feel that way in the 90s or even the early aughts. It was really over this shift that happened the last 8 or 9 years where someone figured out how to capitalize on, you know, this legitimate crisis.
Before we get there, let's kind of go back in time a little bit. So Kevin Dahlgren, how did that individual get involved in homelessness and houseless initiatives?
Well, I think just even at a young age, I just had this strong desire to make the world a better place, honestly.
That's great, man.
I just, you know, when you're 10 years old, it's like you look around and, you know, I was the one picking up the trash and talking to people and not even knowing why. It's just something I was driven to do. Jump ahead 10 years, in my early 20s, living in a small studio apartment on Southeast Hawthorne. My little brother ended up on the streets of Portland, Oregon with a meth addiction.
That's rough.
And meth was king. And meth was killing people. And we were all kind of surprised because, you know, it wasn't the perfect household, but I also lived in the same room he did. And how was it that I was in my first year of college and he was on the streets and we're 10 months apart? Wow. So long story short, tough. I helped get him off the street with my older brother. He lived in my small studio apartment for about a year, ended up going through Oxford House, and is to this day thriving. And his day to sobriety is actually the day he moved into my apartment in early 1994.
So you've been really helping people transition off the streets since the mid-90s.
100%.
Wow, that's impressive. And do you feel like that's kind of been your model? Is that because everyone says, you know, this Kevin Dahlgren, he has that tough love approach, and it kind of makes sense because obviously you really love your brother.
Absolutely, right? And it has to be tough love. I mean, another softer way of putting it is I want to empower these individuals, not enable them.
Yeah.
Right. Empowerment means giving them structure, giving them opportunities, holding them responsible, holding them, you know, giving them some accountability. I mean, that is tough love. People hate when I use that term, but I'm like, come on. all you hear is the word tough, but I also said love,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, tough love is how you would raise a child. You know, you're not going to raise a child to be your best friend. You're going to raise a child to become eventually self-sufficient and thrive on their own, right? And that's sometimes what you have to do with the homeless, because they lack structure and they lack maybe any sort of guidance. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why homeless end up on the streets. 9 times out of 10, there's definitely some barriers. There was somewhere along the way, someone failed them or they failed themselves.
Yeah.
And our goal is to identify those barriers and to help them reach their fullest potential. And if we're lucky, they become self-sufficient and leave the system completely, as my brother did.
So you had success there. You moved forward working in local government,
Yes.
right? And at some point, I would say about like 7, 8 years ago, like you're saying, the houseless population and just the overall issue, right? Especially in the Portland metro area, it kind of came to the forefront. Really, I would say, with the introduction of the heroin epidemic, right?
Yeah.
I mean, for me, that's as a police officer, I look at that intersection of drugs, and I think, for me, because before that, it seemed like there were always travelers. We always had folks,
transient
travelers, but with the introduction of these heavy new narcotics, especially these synthesized narcotics,
Yep.
people have literally the homeless population that I deal with, they have no sense of agency. People that I dealt with 10 years ago as a police officer, they might have been homeless, but they had the cognitive and, I would say, spiritual and emotional ability to make decisions for themselves.
Yep.
But this new wave of drugs has almost robbed them of that. And so
Yeah.
for me, it became about that. What did you notice?
Well, and what I would say, certainly right now, what we see the homeless population, good 80% of the time, is with these new drugs, and I guess what we're talking about is fentanyl.
Yeah.
Is they've lost all rational thought and critical thinking. There's been a shift in even their mindset.
Yeah.
Things have simply changed. I'm a drug and alcohol counselor, and I have been for a long, long time. But it was simply different 10 years ago.
It was different, right?
And these people are just simply, literally have lost their minds.
They have no ability to make they don't have the cognitive function of self-agency anymore.
Correct. And so that's why I've been so vocal. Like, why aren't we treating this like the real, true, legitimate crisis it is? And why do we continue to supply these individuals with the means to continue to use, AKA harm reduction? And that to me is completely insane. When you see a person completely knotted out or walking around like a zombie, and you walk up to them with a smile on your face and hand them some straws and walk away, that's insane to me.
And so where we live, so handing out paraphernalia such as needles, straws, which are used to inhale the fentanyl smoke if you're cooking a pill, right, a blue or a white. And so you're saying that the policy here locally has been harm reduction, right? In which essentially that means providing paraphernalia.
Yeah, and it's really, this social justice movement is really a philosophy. It's a belief in bodily autonomy, a person's right to use, a person's right to do whatever they want to their body.
Which is really an extreme form of libertarianism.
Yeah.
It's not even a liberal idea. It's not a,
It is, but they've taken it so far. The fact is I wrote this opinion piece in the New York Post a few months ago.
Which was excellent.
And I called it, "We are loving the homeless to death."
Yeah.
And that's what it is. That's what bodily autonomy is we love you enough to give you every right to do whatever you want. But let's think about the person we're doing this to, with no critical thinking and rational thought. They don't know how to stop. They can't. They're going to do it until they die.
Yeah.
And we as a community, as a society, I believe, have a responsibility to finally just say enough is enough.
We do. And, there's a threshold there legally. I remember when I was in law enforcement, I took a phone call, or I took a dispatch, and the dispatch essentially was, "Hey, I'm at work. My wife is home. She's actively trying to commit suicide. Can you do a welfare check?" So I'm on the phone. I get a 21. I get a phone call from the husband of the a person attempting suicide, and no one's answering the door. And so I have permission to enter. So I go ahead and kick the door in, and I'm clearing the house, my firearm's out. The lady comes from the kitchen, actually attacks me with a butcher knife open. I don't shoot her, thank God. And I'm like, hey, I'm law enforcement. I'm here to check on you. She drops the knife, and, taking that forward, I get her into care, right? But doing an after action on that call, I realized that I had actually created my own jeopardy, because in Oregon, people have the right to take their own life. Mm-hmm. We have the right to suicide here. And so that is something that's not common to other states. And so the intersection for these two things coming together is that when law enforcement takes a call and they have a homeless person who is engaging in self-harm, as a law enforcement agent in the state of Oregon and other states, you have the right to take that person into civil custody. It's called a police officer hold or a psych hold. Mm-hmm. But because that individual also has the right to actually harm themselves up until death, a lot of police officers that I've spoken with don't feel comfortable using force in order to get that person to a hospital, because they feel they could be justifiably sued because we're taking that ability away for them to engage in self-harm, which is almost pretty much illegal here.
It's completely insane. I mean,
this is an insane loop, right?
We're all frontline workers, and the fact is we are hardwired to save people, to help people, to make the world a better place.
That's right.
And everywhere we turn, we have these moral dilemmas like, wait, am I doing the right thing? When in our mind, we know it's the right thing. But then if we cross that certain line, somehow we're in trouble, not them. Yeah, or we get in trouble for it. It's insane.
In fact, I would even argue that if as individuals, if we're walking around and we see someone engaging in self-harm and we don't attempt to help them, that there's almost a psychopathy there. We're almost acting as a sociopath or a psychopath
by not helping them.
If we don't have the desire to want to better that person's life, is there something wrong with us? And so as a society here in Oregon, as we're letting the homeless just die, just wilt on the vine right in front of us on the street, intense, what does that say about us as a culture?
Exactly. I said this recently, maybe a little too extreme, but when Multnomah County announced before they reversed their decision that we're going to start handing out, foil and straws to our addicts, right? Yeah. And they'd already purchased the items. I was asked to go on the media, and the first thing I said is, and kind of in a sarcastic way, because this is one of those rare moments where I was emotional, because I'm like, you're killing me here, right? I do this for a living, and this is just making me crazy. I said, finally, Multnomah County has a solution of how to end homelessness. We're going to let them die.
Yeah.
And I said this, but I also was like, I know this is what's going to happen, is that we're going to see a significant spike in overdoses and deaths. Now, fortunately, the public kind of revolted and they reversed their decision a few days later. Mm-hmm. But I said this really, while somewhat sarcastically, also I knew, matter of fact, guaranteed there would be a spike in overdoses and deaths. And so I'm glad they reversed it. But I was also frustrated, like, that's the best you can come up with? This is your solution?
Yeah. And you're right. I mean, you're going to see a natural increase in death if you allow that to occur.
Yep.
I mean, that's a given. So take us through your we can call it your business model, right? It's not really a business model, but when you're on the streets and you're engaging the houseless population, kind of take us through a regular contact for you.
All right. And this is something I had to kind of develop on my own, because I'm going to just sadly admit I was not trained to do this. Right. Every nonprofit I worked for in the city, the county, and the state, nobody told me this. I just sort of had to do this instinctually.
Yeah.
I really learned what not to do and did the opposite. Right. I mean, that's what my approach is. So I can jump back to when I joined the city of Gresham in October 2018, after writing the mayor a letter with a 9-point plan how to reduce homelessness, and he was impressed enough to invite me to City Hall. And
I love it.
A few weeks later, I was hired. So that's how you get hired, folks, is just write the elected official a letter. I didn't apply for the job, and I wasn't looking for a job. But I also liked what this mayor was doing and really just wanted to commend him for, his outspoken beliefs on what his thoughts were on homelessness, and I was impressed.
For the folks that aren't familiar with Portland, Gresham is a large suburb of Portland, and I would say there are great, there are excellent, beautiful parts of Gresham, but there are also lower income areas as well.
Yes, it is a lower income area. And I'll say that in, the 4.5+ years I was there, really by month 10, we had reduced homelessness by over 90% in our city. And we had a higher per capita rate of homelessness than Portland, Oregon in 2018.
That's right.
People forget that a majority of the homeless were in the Springwater corridor in East County.
Giant green belt, just this giant, beautiful green belt.
It's about 5 miles long and it's massive. And there was just several hundred homeless people and millions of pounds of trash. And within 10 months, we had cleaned up every piece of trash and reduced homelessness by over 90+% in just the first 10 months.
It's amazing.
And we did this, and now this is to lead to how is our approach. It was all about our approach. And step one is this daily contact.
Yes.
I'm a big believer in regular, I prefer daily contact, but bare minimum regular contact.
Yep.
What this does is this starts with building trust. Is the homeless are used to seeing outreach workers every once in a while, but then not for several weeks, months, or years. And they never expect to see you the next day, the next day, the next day. And what this does is this does build trust. It builds this rapport, right? But also what it does is it deters negative behavior. Because in any homeless population, 10, 15, 20%, let's just be perfectly honest, are up to no good.
Of course, and that's any population.
And they're going to, any population, they're causing most of the problems, and they're usually the ones victimizing the other homeless.
Always. They have them addicted to drugs.
There's a lot of sexual assaults. There's a lot of person-to-person crimes, a lot of all the bad things, kicking in doors and porch pirates and stuff. Daily contact simply deters that behavior. What we saw in Gresham over the first year, my chief of police told me, is, Kevin, we've seen an 88% drop in all police calls related to homelessness the first year you started.
It's amazing.
88%.
Amazing.
Because we simply were there every day.
Witnesses.
And crime dropped, behaviors improved, all that thing. So I'm a big believer in daily contact because they get to know you, they trust you, and trust is huge. There's a strong mistrust in the system. There's a strong mistrust in you. That's always the challenge. The first time I meet a new homeless person is, while most can eventually be very friendly, some are very standoffish and like, who the hell are you? It takes time. It does. But you go and you have that regular contact, always be brutally honest with them, right? I never sugarcoat anything. I'm brutally honest about what's working and what's not, how I can help them, how I can't help them, and what they're doing is whether right or wrong. I will tell them, I will call them out on things too. And they respect it because the secret is this. With my elevator speech is how to work with the homeless. Treat them like adults. You treat a homeless like an adult, not like a protected class or someone you have to tiptoe around and you're scared of offending them. You treat them like you would treat a brother, a friend, a neighbor, a coworker, right? If they're respectful, I'm respectful. If they're not so respectful, I'm going to probably say something, right? It's no different. You treat them like an adult. And I promise you that is a big part of it.
And so I would argue that treating someone like an adult for me means treating them with respect and self-worth and treating them as if they have agency for themselves.
Yep, that's called empowerment.
That's empowerment, which is trauma informed.
Yep.
Because trauma, when you traumatize, in the psychology of trauma, the victim loses worth and they lose agency. This is what keeps them trapped in the cycle of trauma.
And that's our goal, is to empower these individuals.
Exactly.
And the fact is, 98% of the time, it's not happening out there. There's very few people, very few agencies that are actually out there empowering. Echelon is definitely one that is empowering.
Thank you.
And that's why I love you guys and why I'm so happy to be here. But very few people are doing this. I travel the country now, and it's so frustrating because it seems so common sense to me.
Me too.
Like, come on. I mean, I guess for me, I did this early on where with my brother, right? I empowered him. I mean, and the tough love piece was like, oh, dear God, what the hell are you doing? Right?
Yeah,
like, I was like, that's insane. Stop now. Right? And it worked. He listened to me. And so I'm a big believer in that. And that's kind of what we did in Gresham. This is what we've done in multiple communities now. Obviously, the numbers speak for themselves, right? Is any person or agency or program that shows has empowerment, they simply have measurable results.
They do.
You all have actual measurable results. Many people can't even say that. And why? The fact is they won't even talk about it. Most agencies won't even bring up metrics. They're terrified because they're not actually making a difference out there, sadly.
So step one, engagement, right? Step two, accountability, empowerment through accountability. And then eventually, you have to have what we notice is there's always present a step to get people away from that community, right? And so you got to transition them somewhere. So explain that process, how you would.
Well, once you build that trust, you better damn well also come with resources.
Yeah, that's right.
And here's the thing. Virtually every homeless person has ambivalence. Honestly, every human has ambivalence. Everybody has ambivalence, but certainly homeless, right? And because of that strong mistrust, ambivalence is this, right? With every decision they make, it's no, 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 yes, no, 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 yes. It goes back and forth. The moment they say yes, the moment they're just like, I think I'm ready, I'm done with this, I hate this, you don't put them on a darn list.
Nope.
You don't, hey, wait for this. You help them that day. You help them immediately. You drop everything because that is the person we're more likely to help them than anybody else we've encountered that day. Because if you can help even that one person and start doing that every day, you're going to see those measurable results over time, right? It's a complete disservice when a person walks into a program and says, I am done with this life. I'm used for last time. I am ready, 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 ready. All right, great. Go on this list. You'll go in 6 months. Or you can get in a detox in 11 or 12 days. That's insane to me.
And you have to be high when you go to detox as well.
Yeah. And
you can't show up a day sober.
And it's not a perfect system because it's like I have a heck of a time getting a person to detox.
It's
because
one of the hardest things you can do.
And it's frustrating. And by the way, if I were in charge, and people always ask me this, what would you do if you were king for a day or something? I said, considering that this is an epidemic and that fentanyl is the worst, most powerful drug I've ever seen in my entire life, and 80+% of every homeless person is currently using it, I would say we need to bare minimum quadruple the amount of detox facilities we have, and as a temporary. Doesn't mean we have to have them for the next 10 years, but we need them for the next 1 or 2 years. And if we treat this like the crisis it is, all crises eventually end, which means let's do this now. Let's have emergency detox facilities in every district or wherever and get everybody ready off the streets right now who wants it. And so that was the biggest challenge for me in Gresham and other cities is when they wanted help that day, what do we do, right? Now, the good news is...
And you're working for an actual government entity.
Yeah.
And so the ability to have access should be much greater than just a local nonprofit going out.
Yeah, and so that was a little bit of my advantage is I did, close friends with the mayor, and I was very close to, at the time, the city council. And I'm still very close to city council, but city councilors change, and right now they have a very divided city council. But back in the day, we were all very tight to the point where we would just wake up in the morning, text me like, "You want to get breakfast?" And so we treated each other like a family. And so I did have, more of an advantage because a government can simply get things done faster, and they liked what I was doing. Yeah. And so I was able to get a budget. So, for example, if detox wasn't open, I would put them in a motel, and then we would send staff there to check on them literally 24 hours a day for 3 days and have our own damn detox. We did whatever was necessary to help that person break that cycle, especially when they were ready. And what we found is we were building this reputation where when you are ready and you are serious, you come to us, we will literally drop everything and help you. And that's what we did.
Amazing.
And we did it. And it wasn't perfect. It honestly became this logistical nightmare for me when everybody basically on the same day said, all right, I'm ready. Yeah. I mean, because that's what happens when you have daily contact, when you build that trust and everyone's like, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. So of course I didn't get everyone on housing day one. And of course some people had to remain in their tents, but we are still going out there every day saying, all right, so today, here's what we're going to do. We got you the phone. We got you this job interview. We got you these new shoes so you can do this. We were preparing them for success. And we kept at that hope alive. And I just got chills because I think about those moments when a person is just like, they've empowered themselves and like, Kevin, I am going to do this.
That's right.
And before you know it, they have more energy than any of you do. And they are pissed.
Yeah.
They are like, I'm done. And it is powerful.
It is. It's
And you see their potential, and you feel so good that you give them this opportunity, and they thrive. Mm-hmm. And that's what they want. They just needed the path, the guidance, the opportunity. And so that's what we can do. This is what we can do. People always, I guess, talk about the money thing. I was like, look, we have more than enough money right now, I believe, to solve this.
We do. For sure.
We just need to reallocate it to the right programs like Echelon and a few other smaller ones that are making true differences every day. We do this, we will end this crisis, folks, in months, not years. We will. This is a crisis. Treat it like one. Mm-hmm. And I'm a big believer that we can do this, right?
And that's exactly where I was going to lead that conversation to. So, you're very popular for, I don't know if you coined the term, but I've heard you say it first, the homeless industrial complex.
So the homeless industrial complex is basically these special interest groups that realize that they could monetize homelessness and make it really, even though they say nonprofit, it's for profit. Because the salaries at the top of that pyramid are exorbitant. Yeah, it's a very profitable industry. Yeah. The fact is, I challenge anybody to walk up to any homeless person who's actively working on getting out of homelessness, and they can name minimum 5 different people, 5 different agencies that are working with them that are basically doing the same thing.
Yeah.
That is very common. They can name another 5 that said, well, I tried to work with them, but they won't call me back,
That's right.
But I guarantee you this is because they had that one contact, that agency now has a check mark that says, oh, I work with Joe Smith, right? And so now at the end of the year, when they're requesting more money, they can say Joe Smith is our client, even though they've only talked to him once for 10 minutes. And then they're requesting an extra $10,000 a year to help that person. Right. I mean, it's corrupt as hell. And the reason why I say this is because there's no accountability. There's no oversight. There's no metrics. Yeah. There's no way of knowing what anybody else is doing.
We don't even know how many beds are available currently.
Yeah. And by the way, and here's the thing is
shelter beds. Yeah.
Okay. And dirty little secret is that everyone always says there's not enough beds. That might be true. But I worked in these housing programs for decades, and we were never at full capacity.
They can't be. In order to satisfy Martin v. Boise, the 9th District Court decision out of the Idaho Supreme Court that limits the government's ability to move a houseless person, they have to have a place to put them. So anytime, let's say a city government or a county government wants to move a homeless camp tomorrow, and there's 100 people there. Well, you have to maintain those 100 beds somewhere. So if these beds were capacity, it would actually limit the government ability to work with the homeless.
Yeah, and the irony of that is...
So you have to have... the system is worked in such a way that it creates gaps.
Yeah, right? And what's frustrating about that is let's just say 100. If we lined up 100 random homeless people today in Portland, Oregon, if we're lucky, 40 would accept help today.
Oh, I would say 15.
Yeah, 15.
That's our number.
But what I'm saying is that it's extremely low. And I'm not saying it's no judgment against them, but there's a reason why they're not ready. The ambivalence, the middle of their addiction, their mental illness, their trauma, they're hiding from the law. There's a lot going on. And so these 100 beds are always remaining open. The sad thing is that there's also hundreds of other people out there right now, low-hanging fruit of people are like, I'm done, I'm ready, I need help, I want a job, I'm sick of this. What the hell? How do I get out of this situation? Exactly. And we should be giving them that damn bed. The reason why we don't is because you mentioned the silo is nobody is talking to anybody. No one is communicating with anybody. We don't have this by name sort of list of every homeless person that everybody in the community has access to, not with open beds and linked the two. We don't have that.
No, there's no accountability there. And, going back to the beginning of what you had just said, our numbers are when we go out and contact people, and this is the nonprofit Loving One Another and also Echelon, there's about a 15% response rate that we would call positive, wanting change. But what we've realized is if you engage that person for 7 days in a row, the likelihood is that they were willing to accept change, meaning transition, twice that week. You just had to be there every day.
Yep,
contacting
exactly. That's the ambivalence. You have to be there every day.
Yeah.
You don't know when that person is miraculously that day being like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I want help. And you help them because that's the moment. Because once you give them an opportunity and they go to the next step, even though they might still be at high risk of relapse, once you give them that new opportunity and you just work with them and work with them, they're less likely to go backwards. They're more likely to stay at least where they're at and continue to move forward.
Yeah, you're building agency. You're building that agency as you work with them.
Yeah, and relapse is a part of recovery, and the reality is that the person we do help sometimes is going to fall backwards again, and 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But what happens is that because that trust is already established, the next time around, they're more likely to be more successful because they know, hey, we were there for them.
Yeah.
And it can be frustrating at times because it's a lot of effort. But, these are people that are broken.
Totally
these are
worth
broken
it.
people.
Yeah.
And we need to realize that. And I hate when people just say, pull them up with their bootstraps. They just got to da-da-da. I'm like, nah. I mean, these people have a lot of barriers. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of trauma. There's a lot of addiction, whether it's on them or somebody else, why they got into it. It doesn't really matter. Our job is to solve this, and that means to solve a problem, you have to understand the problem. To understand the problem, you have to be immersed in it and spend every day with it. And that's why I spend so much time in the encampments, talking to the homeless, interviewing them. I mean, this is a big part of what I do, and kind of what my focus has been the last year and a half is I go into these communities and I give them a voice. I'm so sick of the system lying and saying this is what a homeless person is. More housing ends homelessness. BS. If that's the case, we would have ended it decades ago. This is always the argument is you build enough housing for every homeless person, it's going to miraculously end homelessness. That is just not true.
So, and kind of speaking to that, when I think of the homeless industrial complex and the housing first model, I kind of call that whole thing the field of dreams model. It's if you build it, they will come. And the reality is you can build whatever you want, but they're not going to come. And the reason they're not going to come is that model. What it does is that model for me, what we realized is that it communicates you're not worth my time. You're not worth me getting out of my car, coming to see you in your tent or on the side of the street and having a conversation. I'm gonna make you a person with no worth and no agency. I'm gonna make you abandon your tent, so you're gonna get robbed. Go steal a shopping cart, commit a crime. Push that shopping cart back to your tent. Take everything you own and put it in a stolen shopping cart. Push it an hour down the street to my office. And then go and wait in line. You got to wait in line, of course, at least 3 or 4 hours, right? With a 50-50 chance that you'll be offered any type of transition that day. And that entire field of dreams, homeless industrial complex, housing first model communicates you're not worth my time.
Yep.
And people on the street, they will tell us this all the time.
Well, yeah. Oftentimes I'll tell these agencies, I'm sorry, have you ever met a real life homeless person?
Exactly.
Like I get confused. I'm like, you created this for them? Yeah. Who in the heck would accept this?
Yeah.
Like, it's insane to me when I think that. So I'm like, you got to spend time with them. I've always said this is that if you want the homeless to accept a shelter, change the shelter system, right?
Yeah.
You have to. I mean, you just do.
You do.
I worked in the shelter system. It was a large, the one I worked at for 7 years was a large room with 91 men in this large room with bunk beds where everyone had 1.5 feet of space. And it was even worse in prison. Because at least in prison, you had at least only one other person in your cell with you. This was 90 other people.
Yeah, in prison, at least you get a 6x6 by 8.
And the fact is, overdoses and murders were actually sexual assaults were very common in the shelter system,
and they are,
and it continues. Why would a person who we found in the Springwater corridor next to a creek on 5 acres, want to live in this tiny little heck hole? So we have to rethink everything. And that's why I go out there and try to tell people this is what a real life homeless person looks like and sounds like. And this is what they're sharing with me. This is what they want. This is why I give them the voice. Now, of course, because this goes against the narrative of our friends in the social service agency that we don't always see eye to eye with, at least the new thing I'm hearing lately is Kevin hires actors to portray the homeless because there's no way a homeless person would ever say this. And I've been hearing this a lot
That's just ridiculous.
By leaders. I know leaders of major programs in the Pacific Northwest, executive directors saying that I hire, and I'm like, well, that's an impressive production because I have all these extras in the back that look like homeless, and all these tents, and I'm also on Broadway, so somehow I was managed to stop traffic for an hour. This was a multi-million-dollar production, so I'm very impressed with myself. And like, I'm just like, it's insane because they can't believe this homeless person is saying this. Yeah. And the most recent one was this, is I have all these homeless saying, I like law enforcement. I like the police. I like security because I feel safer. Yes. And also, guess what? I like that they own me sometimes and call me out on my BS. I get it. I'm up to no good. And sometimes I need that structure, right? And this person came out of nowhere who runs this major program in California and said, there's no possible chance that a homeless person would ever say this because all homeless hate cops. I'm like, are you kidding me?
That's insane.
Most homeless strongly support our law enforcement. Yeah. They actually, especially women, they feel safer with law enforcement.
They want more.
Yeah, they want more.
Most of the households that I contact, they would prefer more law enforcement.
100%. Yeah. I mean, it's a high percentage actually are drawn to the police because the police actually, if you actually work with them, they're social workers with guns. They're very compassionate people, and I've worked with the police for many, many decades, and so of course I have strong love for these people. And they're out there doing some seriously pain in the butt work and don't get any love. But the fact is, in my experience doing this for decades, the homeless appreciate the police because what the police are giving them is showing them accountability, structure, but also some tough love.
So we're about to hit the streets. We're going to meet up with Bach. We're going to patrol with him for a little bit, and hopefully we'll engage some houseless and maybe get someone into a shelter. How do you feel about that?
I love it. I mean, I'm all about making a real difference every day and not just talking about it, but actually showing from step, A through Z how to actually help a person off the streets. And you know what? I guarantee we could probably find somebody.
Let's go. Let's do it. All right.
All right.
We took a call last time we were out with Bach. Someone swung on him. He pepper sprayed him, and we called Loving One Another out. So Spencer came out, and then we worked all day. and We got him into Unity.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was good.
Into the first floor of Pez.
Yep.
I worked at Unity for 1 year, dude.
Really? We used to have 15 beds here at the Greyhound shelter.
Nice.
And then they took those away because we were like, oh, we don't work with private entities, and we were like,
but you need a private public collaboration to end this crisis. I mean, obviously we've shown the public isn't going to be able to do it on their own.
Exactly.
I always go over here because this is already the hot spot. The encampment right behind ODOT, that little green space. I was there a few days ago, and guy pulled a 44 Magnum on me.
Oh, crazy.
It's fucking terrifying. Now, 22, I'm like, yeah, shoot me.
Who was it?
OG Mike.
Okay, we'll talk to him.
Well, here's the thing. He pulled it technically on the other guy. He just was waving around like he was acting fucking crazy. And it was nerve-wracking because he was completely out of his mind, and literally for about 3 minutes, I was about 80% confident he's definitely going to shoot one of us.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck this. And he was like, I want my ring back. It was some dumb little squabble over something.
Yeah.
And I'm realizing, wow, wrong place, wrong time, Kevin. I did not want to be there. But I know a lot of them down there, and they're actually quite cool. And this is why I didn't report him, because I hate to say it, even though he has a gun, I have to maintain that trust, so I didn't say anything, And they all have guns anyway.
Yeah.
Or not all. I think 4 of them down there have guns. Everyone has knives. But, he's carrying a nice fucking piece. I'll tell you that, dude.
Oh, dude, yeah. Most people have guns. You have to. It's scary as hell.
But, again, ultimately, I wasn't too worried about being shot because the fact is the homeless they're also not stupid. They're not going to shoot someone for no reason,
Mm-hmm.
I love it. This is the spot to go. This is where you go. This is where you learn the truth, dude.
Oh, yeah, bro. Yeah.
This is Oldtown, baby.
Every building right here that you can see is a client. All right, we're in Oldtown, Chinatown. We're stepping out. We're hooking up with Bach. Gonna get him mic'd up. We're gonna go on patrol. See you there. Cool. Awesome. Oh, Michael Bach, Kevin Dahlgren. Gosh.
Hi, Kevin.
I'm the Kevin Dahlgren, right?
Yeah, the
I'm
Kevin
just
Dahlgren. It's true. It's true.
Great. Merchant Hotel looks like it needs some attention. Everywhere else is pretty squared away.
Yeah, are those folks in your subway? Did they move down to subway?
I haven't seen anybody move further down. There's still that like platform thing, and then there's a couple of people up in a couple of doorways that look like they were smoking. So, howdy,
You got any
fellas.
water?
I haven't forgotten about that.
What's up, gents?
Hey, who's the thug taking everybody's pictures? You want to see what else?
We're doing a documentary about houselessness in Portland, and how hard it is, and how you transition.
How do you survive and how do you bounce back?
Yeah,
How about that?
I was actually homeless for 2 years as an adult and as a child with my mom in the car for about a year and a half.
I've been down in prison 3 years. My kids need a roof. I don't. I have a lot of child
I
support.
feel that, bro.
So I have to pay that. You know, I can't see them. They need it.
Yeah.
I'd rather be this way than halfway house. You know.
Yeah.
Easy. But when
Well, dude, halfway house is rough, bro.
Look at that, man. I have money. I can be like
I'm Alex.
Freddie.
Pretty nice to meet you,
Nice to meet you. So I don't have to come up on anybody. I don't drive because I can't see yet.
Yeah, yeah.
But I have money. But I don't want. I lost enough vehicles, so
Yeah.
you know. But I'm not gonna ever kill anybody out of my discussion. So
If any of y'all want to talk to us, let us know.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the gentleman who has just moved. This is Alex.
Alex.
The job thing, it kind of fits itself if I have a place to live and a safe place to keep my stuff. You know, I'm a car salesman. You know, so man, hey, somebody need a car, I'm gonna handle the business and it's done. You know, you don't need a lot of education. You know, and you don't have to have a degree.
Has anybody out here approached you and talked to you about housing?
Yes, and it's 3 weeks for some, 3 years for others.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so I mean.
But you are ready that day. And then,
Ready.
yeah.
Whatever the whatever you need to do to make it happen for me. You know, man.
Have you heard of the Bybee Lakes Hope Center on North Portland?
Uh-uh.
It's the program. It's built out of the old jail, but never uses a jail.
Okay.
It's a re-entry program. Helps people break that cycle, and that's important to know. It's not a shelter. It's re-entry.
Okay.
Breaks that cycle homelessness, and their number one mission is to make sure you never return to homelessness again. And it's a solid program.
It's the nicest facility in Portland.
We're a referral agency, man. So if it's something you want, we can make a phone call and get you there.
You know, man, I'd like to know more about it before I just commit to something.
Oh,
course.
you should ask more
So,
questions.
But yeah, you know, man, it sounds like, you know, it sounds, and it's new.
Yeah.
Within
And-
the past, what, 2 years?
Yeah, I've probably finished in the past year.
And it's not for everybody, because the fact is you have to be ready and you have to want it. And for a lot of people out here that we just walk past, there's a lot of barriers. They're not going to right now qualify, but they may eventually qualify. You very likely qualify more than most people out here.
Okay.
So,
I mean,
so that's
my
something.
problem is a place to keep my stuff, and you know, man, changing for work. You know,
That
have
makes sense to me.
Have to show up neat, orderly, shaved up, and you know, man, not dirty hands. They're not gonna go for that. You know, so they're gonna inspect you. Cool, man.
It ain't like
It's actually, there's a lot of nature, an amazing garden, and it's away from basically the chaos.
most definitely.
It's
And
incredible.
you have to get away
I
from
mean,
it.
you hear birds chirp. It's amazing. You go there and I don't want to leave. It's really a gorgeous area. So we'll talk more about it, okay?
Okay, thank you, and I appreciate
Cool,
it.
we're going to get a flyer. We're going to come back.
All right.
Thanks, Kim folk.
Right on, man.
We'll be back for you.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
Where's your van at?
I'm clear over at the surface lot of 4 and Davis.
We'll go grab that. We're going to grab that and come back.
All right.
I may be out of that particular paperwork, so I can actually get Spencer or Tiffany
Yeah.
to come by. Let me take a look here.
Yeah, you could call Tiff. That'd be good. Because he's ready, man. I think we can get him in. Right after someone is swept, the anxiety of all that, you know what I mean? That's like the opportune time that I've noticed. to get someone in
my
the
biggest concern is this, and
Hey,
I
man,
hear this
how are
all the
you?
time, is they weren't offered real help.
Good,
This
I'm
is
out with
one.
the-
So this is a
with the-
person who clearly is motivated.
Yeah.
Why have we not dropped everything and used every resource to help him? That makes me crazy.
Yeah, he's definitely not on drugs.
The gentleman just across from Lansu.
Clearly, there might be a mental health issue, but it didn't show
looks like a
itself,
good
10%.
candidate for Bybee
Get
Lakes.
that on the street right there.
The thing is he would really go for a good personal contact. Okay. Okay.
Hey, ma'am. Can I ask you a quick question, dear?
What?
I'm an outreach worker out here.
Huh?
So I got a question. Were you just swept and you're just moving locations?
Yeah.
So that happened? I'm curious because it was something we're not really okay with because I bet you weren't really offered a real solution, were you?
I mean,
You know, like, all right, well, we need to do this, but we're going to get you into housing. And I don't know if that happened. I doubt that happened. Where they offered you housing? Did that happen? Because I see this a lot is people get moved around and this is just whack-a-mole. And this is my friend Alex, and this is a good example of whack-a-mole. Is
You doing okay, sis?
yeah, she was asked to move, and so she's moving. But what services were you offered to get off the streets? How were you helped so you don't have to do this once a week? You
Did they
know?
offer to take you anywhere?
No.
They offer you to get into any type of resource center, into housing or anything. They even try to get you on a list. Did they ask you where you're going to move so they could contact you in the future? Nothing, right?
well, I don't know. I signed a registration card for a park recreation in Washington County.
Oh, you're thinking about
Seattle,
switching county?
Washington.
Oh, you okay?
Yeah. I was hoping that some, I don't know, maybe others would like to flock out there with me.
Well, let me ask you this, because I'm sure it's a question no one's asked you. What's it going to take to get you off the streets? What is it that you're looking for?
Your brother in Christ right in front of you, man. I'm so
Well,
glad we met.
Can I ask you a personal
I'm so
question?
glad we met.
Do you have a
'Cause
history of
what would happen
addiction?
if we had not met? You know
Do
what I'm
you
saying?
use it all? Have
Hey,
you used it recently?
hey, you got the boat corrected.
There's no judgment.
Okay? We still got a long way to go.
The reason why I'm asking
right?
is, are you interested in like
But the
treatment
boat's
or
corrected.
recovery or detox?
It's in the right direction.
Is that something
That's
that
what
would
matters.
work for you?
Get the boat in the right move. Okay?
And if you're not actively using,
I
then we can go
I
down a
struggled
different
with
road.
addiction,
But
too.
I've just never met you, so I'm not sure.
I did.
Sorry, man, I was an asshole.
I'm more excited to see you like this.
Have you considered
Yeah,
treatment
I
or
mean it.
recovery?
Oh,
Because I think that might be the first
totally
step. That
good,
might be
man.
a big
Totally
barrier
good.
for you.
We're gonna
So where are you camping?
do
We
what
can
we
talk
need
more
to do to
about
get you
it.
from where you're at to a spot that's better, man. I heard that you were headed out to what is it, Teen
You
Challenge?
headed to the pit?
I was gonna do that, but I don't think
Were you headed to the pit?
Okay.
I'm gonna.
Well, I was just carrying her. I
Sign
just
up for
needed a new
gospel.
tag.
Okay.
Well, and
I went to Florida.
and what is your name, dear?
Angela.
My name's Kevin.
Angela.
Okay.
You can call me Angela.
Angie, Kevin, Alex, and I will talk to you again. This is
know
a very
Spence
easy
already?
tent.
Everyone knows that.
Well, it's nice.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
All the time. I've been down there for the last 4 years.
Well, I hope so. We'll try to find her, okay? And we're gonna talk to you again, Angie, okay?
Yeah.
Nice to
Good
meet you.
Just
The guy back here in the
And if you can think of
in
her
the
name or
camouflage
agency,
tent
we'll call
with-
on your
or the
behalf,
camouflage
okay?
cover.
Yeah, we just got about a detox last week.
Outstanding. Good, man. Good. Yeah.
Bro.
You know about Victory Outreach too?
Nice to meet you, man.
Man,
I know, man. That,
all of them.
yeah, your YouTube video changed my life, man. It touched me. It really did. And I'm really excited that you're getting back in the program. I just want to say that first. Pumped up about that.
You know, I found this the other day. I was heading down to get some crack the other day.
Is that St. Michael?
Put the whole
Oh, that's awesome.
armor of God on. I found this. I was always going to get some crack.
Yeah.
I just found it on the ground. There's two little signs here and there. Like, he doesn't want to let me go.
No, not gonna.
No matter what I do, never, no matter what I face.
Yeah.
No matter how far you run. I always see little signs. Like I was at my mom's, I seen this like little thing. It's just a little card with Jesus on it. And I look at the clock and it's 333. I don't know if you know angel signs. You know? Like you see like sets of three, like 333 or 555 or whatever it is. Like there's an angel watching over you.
Numerology type stuff.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah, so Victory Outreach is taking right now, so I think late
So we worked with Shane the other day. He actually took a swing at Bach and Bach pepper sprayed him. And then I think he was still coming down a little bit. We were able to get him in Unity. We were talking about in the car. And then they bounced him. And so now he's going to go into Victory Outreach.
Oh, yeah, they're good people.
Love that program.
They're
This
great
is my
people.
friend Kevin.
Nice to meet you, brother.
Kevin is one of all he does is work with the houseless and try to get people to transition. And that's what we're out here doing today. So
I've been out here for a couple decades. First person I housed was my little brother, who was sleeping near here with a meth addiction back in the day. It was my very first person I housed. And that was thousands and thousands of people ago.
Yeah.
Hey, you ready to go to Victory Outreach until we get you into Union on Friday? Okay.
Hey, dude, so stoked for you, dude.
I'm proud of you.
I'm
man.
so stoked for you, bro.
Awesome, bro.
These are solid.
Yeah,
These are solid people.
This is it, bro. This is so good.
This is solid people. That's awesome. Damn, this is awesome.
Yeah, huge.
Have you thought about what you want to do when you recover and get stable? You want to do outreach.
Hell yeah.
You have
for you.
Well, I say this, you have a lot to teach. You have a unique perspective. You can come out here and inspire others.
Dude, we would love to have you come work with us. That'd be great.
Or with me. That'd be community
Or,
outreach.
yeah, or with me.
Yeah.
I love that.
Look at that.
We all run our different programs.
Yeah.
You would be solid. Let's take care of yourself first. That's step one.
I turned 37 yesterday. I got to do it.
Yeah.
man.
I want
What's
to
up, bro?
see my son. I haven't seen my son in over a year.
Look at you, goals, man.
And
Make
then
it happen.
2-3 years. You
Make
got
it happen.
the
You do,
house
bro.
and all sorts of stuff.
I do have a number. I have
I was a commercial concrete finisher for a while. And I had a nice car. I was doing good. Like the video, you saw the video.
Yeah, that's right.
Staying out here, I'm living in my car, trying to get my dad off heroin. My dad lives right there, and my car got stolen by this booster chick. And then that's the first day I tried crack. I haven't stopped. I had to stop.
Damn.
What's about Victory Outreach so you can't smoke?
Yeah, they won't
Yeah.
let you do nothing. You're gonna
Yeah.
be straight on the straight leg, straight lace,
That's
straight
fine.
down.
That's fine.
But they'll surround you with
You guys
Jesus,
got a
bro.
gym?
Oh yeah, they got all that. I got them a heavy bag and everything.
Well,
Oh,
one
dope.
thing I learned in my schooling, I'm a drug and alcohol counselor, is you got to replace that
Okay.
desire for that addiction with something of equal intensity. And what you just mentioned is exactly that, your son. What is more stronger than your drug? What's more powerful than that? It's your son. It's getting back in your son's life. That's what you got to remember every single day. That is your goal. That's your new addiction, right?
Your son's got a good father in you.
Yeah.
He's got a good
And
father in you.
this
who
is
can
awesome
teach lots.
because you're young to me because I'm 50, so you're a kid. And so you're gonna recover from this. You're gonna get into outreach and be like, wow, that's crazy. So remember this moment, brother.
Next thing you know, you have a house and a car and some woman that won't be quiet. I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
Oh, it's a burning tree.
Who did? Oh, old buddy down there?
Oh, was that him?
Thanks for helping us build the fire, bro. Appreciate
My
you.
man, my man, brother. Hey, brother, I'm gonna torch this thing. Can I? Okay. Yeah.
What's up, T? Good to see you, bro. You too. Doing good? Always, man. Always. So, you know, some dude was playing with a cigarette, and he caught the tree on fire. But,
Nah, you're fucking famous now, dude.
and if you wait for the fire department, next thing you know, the whole block will be on fire. So you might as well just do what you can while we're here, you know?
Someone was just playing with matches, caught the tree on fire. Luckily, we were here to take it out. Echelon, that is.
What are you gonna do, man? We'll go over here and say hi to Terrence. Kevin Dahlgren? Terrence?
Kevin at the,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, brother.
at the Terrence, brother. Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Kevin Dahlgren.
Yeah.
How's Angie?
She's doing all right.
She seems coherent today, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
Somewhat coherent today. Yeah, she's. Just depends 1 minute for the next.
Let's go down to Merchant Hotel. All right.
We're gonna
You
head
got
this
it,
way.
man.
So I don't know if we're being recorded or filmed right now,
Well,
but
we
I
are.
want to say this, is that
That was perfect timing, bro.
the 20 minutes we stood there, virtually every homeless person approached us, shook your hands and hugged you saying, how's
Yeah.
it going, brother?
Yeah.
Because they know you. I was telling Alex this in our podcast earlier today, is that I did a 2-year project asking the homeless, when's the last time a homeless outreach worker has ever talked to you? Now, the first year, they said 0, 95% of the time.
That's right.
Now, what I hear virtually every day is, yeah, there's only one, you, Kevin, or Echelon. You know, that's what I hear, or loving one another. So, there's only a very few people actually out here every day doing the work. And that
right.
was very indicative. The fact is, everyone approaching you guys.
Yeah.
And you've obviously built this trust and rapport for them to comfortably walk up to you.
Yeah.
I love that. That's the first step to ending this crisis. I think I think it's just beautiful.
We're gonna be hanging left here. And then there's a caddy corner to the south.
You okay,
You
bro?
doing all right, man?
You good?
Hey, TJ. You good? You good, brother? Here. Here. You feeling all right?
Hi,
Here.
sweetie.
There you go.
Hi, beautiful.
Hang in there, buddy.
You have another one of those by any chance?
Sure.
Much appreciated.
Sometimes I'm a walking deposit for you. You want one? Why not? My name's Michael.
I'm Daniel.
Hi, Daniel.
Rachel.
Hi, Daniel and Rachel. I'm Michael.
Nice to
You
meet
guys having a good day?
Yeah. No, we actually are recovery mentors. This is
Oh,
Wonderful.
sweet.
Yeah, yeah.
one guy we've been trying to
I've-
reach.
Dropping seeds on them.
I've known TJ for years.
Me too.
Yeah, been out here a long time with him, talking to him, encouraging him to keep going and
Yeah.
keep the boat correct, directionally correct. But
So you guys are CRMs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
where did you get your
I
certification?
got mine through Peer Recovery Solutions, and he got
Awesome.
his from Miracles Club.
That's dope.
Beautiful. And
Love it.
so are you working with anyone out here?
Trying to find jobs right at this moment. I
Mental
have a
Health of Oregon is hiring, MHAIO.
Okay.
Central City Concerned is hiring, especially if you're a CRM.
Yes. Okay.
It's
Definitely.
very important. You've been there, you have that experience.
Oh, yeah.
You know how to
Yeah, yeah.
recover.
I also just applied as a direct support specialist for DePaul.
Beautiful.
So I'm waiting to hear
Nice.
back for that one.
Yeah, I just got on the MacBull website today.
That's
So
awesome.
it's official now.
Oh, MacBook, cool.
He
Good
just
job.
got certified on the
14th?
The 14th.
It's where I got my drug and alcohol degree. Or I mean, that's the governing board, but that's
We're
that.
both waiting to hear back for internships for our CADC also.
Beautiful. I went through that. I have the CADC where now I get to supervise other CADCs, need to be a CADC because that's the rule. You have to
Yeah.
go through 700 hours of supervision.
Really?
And so I do that supervision.
Yes.
So
and
is that CADC 2 or 3?
Both. It's 2 and 3.
2 and
And
3.
so I'm the next level. You have to just take that extra couple tests and stuff, but it's not too bad.
Your CADC 1 is 1,000 hours. Like,
And so my CADC 2 and 3 took 7,000 hours. But don't be intimidated because it just goes by. It's not that big of a deal.
It's not that intimidating. The 40 hours sounds like it's a lot harder.
Yeah.
The
But I'm
40
very
hours.
proud of you. That's powerful, and just
Yeah.
keep your.
yeah, man.
I love that, and you're just guys are just kind of hanging out, talking to people you already know
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Nice, nice.
right now we're just between jobs, so we sell papers to get us through.
from Street Roots.
Yeah.
Okay. You gotta hustle. Do what you gotta do,
Oh,
right?
man, yeah.
Sometimes we're
How does it feel to be on the other side?
Oh, it actually feels amazing, and really there's just been like a personal experience as of late. Like there was an ex of mine that we didn't work out because
Yeah.
I chose recovery, he chose active addiction,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he was 26 of this
And-
when he passed away.
Are you happier?
Yes, I am actually. I'm so
And
much
and that was obviously a rhetorical question, but like that's important for you to remember that. So
Yeah.
even on your darkest days where you're like,
Man, my worst day sober is still better than my best day high.
my worst day sober is better than my
Best
best
day
day high.
high.
That's solid.
That is solid.
I mean, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Well, now I can like track exactly where my money's gone. Like my money's gone. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
My
Yeah, yeah,
bills, I know where it went.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
other than just like, hey, my
And
money's gone.
your-
Where'd it go?
And
Oh,
your
I
life
spent it
isn't
all
just
on
complete chaos where it's
Mm-hmm.
literally a
At all.
never-ending hustle from the moment you wake up to the moment you sleep. I mean, that's what it is.
And I lived in Austin during my addiction, so like,
You did? Okay.
I almost went to prison. I got caught with less than a gram of meth, but they were like, and I almost went to prison for 5
Wow.
to 10 years.
And so you dodged that bullet.
I dodged that bullet, but it still wasn't my wake-up call. It was finding out my children had been taken away from their father by CPS, and my son told me, I need you, and that was my wake-up call. I
Your
was like,
son
I'm
needed
done.
you.
I'm done, and I've
Yeah.
never touched it since.
I love that. I'm very proud of both of you.
No.
I'm seriously, just from the bottom of my heart. My little brother was a meth addict on the streets of Portland, Oregon, and slept near here. And he got off the streets, and he's thriving now. Makes a
Hell
better
yeah.
makes a better living than me. And his day to sobriety was the day I got him off the streets. So
Fuck
it's
yeah.
it's possible for anybody.
Hell yeah.
And I'm very proud of you too. So make sure you apply, and I'm sure since we're all actually out here doing this boots on the ground stuff, we're going to run into you.
Yeah, most definitely.
My name's Kevin.
Rachel.
And I do outreach out here more independently, but this is Echelon Security Services, and also loving one another.
Yeah.
Nice. All right.
Rachel, Michael again.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, and one more time under Danny.
Hey, nice to meet y'all.
Nice to meet you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. You're doing all the hard work.
Proud of you, brother. Proud of you, sweetie.
Thank you.
Take care.
Have a great day.
You too. So again, another thing. Merchant, this is our building. And this other one isn't. I don't even know who owns that.
Is this our thing right here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're going to work with them on...
Hey, buddy.
You okay?
My man, you all right?
Yeah, I'm good. When you guys just passed, so you were gonna give me.
Howdy.
Okay. Do you want a cigarette?
Yeah.
I like those camo pants, bro.
Morning.
I do with that shirt.
Film on a
That's
little
fun.
documentary on homelessness out here in Portland. It's chaos out here, brother.
Yeah, I'm Michael. Yeah, take a minute if you need to get
You know,
recovered up,
100%
okay?
needs to be addressed.
A little hot out,
I
bro.
want you to meet Alex really
it's gonna
quick.
get
He was
worse.
actually on the streets.
Hi,
And
guys.
I've seen you before.
What's up?
All right, not this guy, but
I'm Michael.
Alex.
How you doing? All right, pleasure, man.
Yeah.
I was in that one doorstep with that female.
Okay.
Remember? Over out the
Apologize.
elephant park?
Okay. Cool.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah. No, not specifically, but because I do it all the time. Yeah. What's your name, man?
Young.
right on.
Young Michael. Nice to meet you too. Yeah. Hope you're doing good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I got brothers and shit that pay attention.
Who's ready to catch some cool
Plus,
pets?
it's so dangerous around here. You know, the best thing going is this, though, not knowing, eh? So if you mind your own, you know what I'm saying? They say you can live a long life.
Right.
But the key thing is this: if it doesn't apply, don't reply. It can save your life. Because that's the type of bullshit they're on out here, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me ask you this. Why do you think this crisis has gotten so bad? Why do we have such a homeless crisis?
Because it's just got out of control. It's not the voters' fault, but the voters voted for a lot of things, you know?
That's right.
of change, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And, they didn't create this madness, but I think they helped impel it a little bit, you know what I'm saying? As far
Well,
as-
it's fair to say they enabled it.
Exactly, yeah. You didn't say it
It's
right
not
there.
like it was really necessarily deliberate, but they're also not making any effort to stop it.
Exactly.
And why not?
You got that funny
Because
thing.
there's a little bit of business attached to it. There's a lot.
Exactly. And I'm gonna tell you what that business is. The money.
Getting the money.
Now
the very
put the
top
money to where it's supposed to
So what I call that is the homeless industrial complex. There's a lot of agencies out here that are really benefiting from this when there's very few like Echelon and loving one another that want to end this crisis, want to break that cycle and honestly in many ways just work ourselves out of a job, to be honest.
That's right.
We want to end homelessness.
So everybody's got a strategy, right? But what they need to have is a suggestion of change. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Most people are keen to not listen to what you tell me to do, but give me a suggestion. You know, Mr. Bill didn't tell you what to do in AA. He gave you a suggestion of his life
That's right.
for change.
That's right.
That part.
I like
Whoa.
that. She's about to get off the streets. She actually recognizes me from some of my videos.
Hey, how are you?
I'm really good, thank you.
My name's Alex. What's your name?
I'm Miyuyuki.
Miyuyuki? Cool, cool.
I've seen Kevin all the time on
Oh, that's
YouTube and
awesome.
on the
That's
news.
dope. Yeah.
I just recently got off the streets. Well, not recently. It's been 3 years.
Yeah.
And yeah, I used to stay over here. I used to stay by the convention center.
Yeah.
But I work for Central City Concern.
That's awesome. Are you
Yeah.
serious?
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah. I'm getting my apartment in August.
Where are you staying at right now?
In a sober living house.
Oh, that's dope. Good.
I've been there for a year.
How you been clean for a year?
No, 3 years.
Oh my
Good for
gosh,
you.
That's amazing.
Good for you.
How did
Nice.
that process start for you?
I was incarcerated August 5th for a drug-related crime.
Yeah.
I was under the influence of methamphetamine and I was drinking and I was really, really deep in my addiction.
Yeah.
And so I committed a crime, a theft.
In order to purchase narcotics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. It's,
Yeah, right. Exactly.
and there's more to it too, you know. Like I was homeless, so I was stealing food and cooking on the streets.
How long were you on the streets?
For like a year and a half.
Year and a half.
Yeah.
So you transitioned from prison?
No, I was
County?
I was on the streets.
Yeah, okay.
And then August 5th, I got arrested and I went to jail and I was in jail for 2 years.
Is that your first time in jail?
No.
Yeah.
I was in jail for 2 years. I got out last year
Wow.
and I went into the sober living house. It's actually a house for Latinas.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
I like that.
And it's Institute Latino.
Okay.
And they have helped me a lot.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And City Central Concern has also helped me a lot.
Awesome.
Good.
That's amazing. And now you're working for them. How long have you been working for Central City
Since
Concern?
April.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you're just smiling, that hope.
I know, I love it.
It's amazing because it's just amazing to talk to you because we're talking to so many people that are so far gone right now, but anybody can recover and anybody can be where you're at, and you're still moving forward. I mean, that's amazing and that's inspiring. That's why I wanted you to share that, because this could be you. You know, we're hoping this video inspires other people who see it on the streets that like anybody can change. You know,
There's life in your eyes.
Yeah.
That's what it is, life in your eyes. I love that.
If you could tell a woman on the streets one thing, right, that had no sense of agency, no sense of worth, they're just beat up on the streets, they don't know what to do, what would you tell them?
It sounds so like overly used all the time. Like if I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I was really bad. I was injecting drugs.
Yeah.
On this, like right there, just sitting down, like a lot of people are doing.
Yeah.
And I never thought that I would ever get clean. I never thought I could.
That's awesome.
But I know that I can now.
That's great. And so when you're at Central City Concern, you plan on engaging in this type of work? You're gonna work with people on the street? What's your plan?
I'm actually gonna be taking a mentor certificate class.
Beautiful.
And it starts today.
Nice.
I'm
Nice.
starting
I love that.
today, yeah.
Well, thank you for taking your time to meet with us and talk to us. Thanks, Kevin, for starting that conversation.
Well, it's a pleasure meeting you.
I'm Michael,
too.
by the way.
Michael, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a hug. Awesome. I'm so happy for you.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get a photo of you guys.
Oh.
Hey, she's doing an awesome job, man. She deserves it.
Okay.
I'm very proud of you.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of you. Really.
Okay. See you guys later.
Take care. Mayuki.
We're doing a documentary. Yeah, we're out trying to get people in housing today. We just sent a guy to Victory Outreach. We're gonna try to get someone else into
Bobby Lakes.
Bobby
Hope
Lakes
Center.
later. You know Jazzy. On the street. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are you homeless currently?
Yeah, I just got released out of prison.
OSP?
Yeah.
Damn, bro. Today or when?
Last Friday.
Last Friday? So you just been staying on the streets?
So I'm in this place.
Up here on the left.
Yeah.
I know it. Have you heard of Victory Outreach? Victory Outreach, they help people coming out of prison, transitioning. It's a residential program, and it's faith-based. It is faith-based, but man, they have like an 85% success rate. Would you be interested in hooking up with them? Yeah, okay.
Let's do it.
Do you know Spencer? Big Spencer walks around. This big white dude walks around, looks like a giant polar bear. Always
around here, man.
Yeah, he works for. So we work with a nonprofit called Loving One Another. Do you have a phone number? Yeah. Oh, that's good. You want to give him Spencer's phone number?
You bet.
Give Spencer a call. He'll contact you, and
I love that song,
he literally
I
is
Will Be
just
Thy
taking
Name.
someone out there right now. Are you still on paper?
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. It's easier to get into Victory Outreach if you're on paper.
Oh, really?
That's good. Yeah.
Alright. So what is it exactly?
What did he die from?
It's like
It's a program. I mean, you can stay up to 2 years. They can describe it better. The guy who runs it's Alejandro. My cousin works with Alejandro.
Wow.
But I don't see him. He was right here, but he's walked away. But
Why don't we? You want me to just get JJ?
So he
Yeah, where's
really
JJ?
ultimately died of fentanyl.
I don't know where he went.
I am so sorry.
But yeah, it's a program. It's residential. They also give you work. Sometimes they come down
So
to work with
you
us.
said you've seen my
And
videos, or she has.
they actually get paid to go do jobs all the time.
All right, and
A
I
lot
like.
of companies will hire them, and so it's a great program, man. We work
Well,
with a lot of
because I
people.
like to
We've seen a lot
share
of people
people's
graduate from the
experiences.
program.
Hey, brother,
and
are you
stuff.
anywhere near Second and Cooch?
And my
Yeah,
thought
this
is,
second of Cooch, right here.
if you want
can't
really
see you.
quickly,
Where
if
are you?
I interview you for a minute, I'll put you up and be like, your
Oh, there you
experiences
are.
with your friend and stuff.
Hey,
and
when
why
you're
you
done,
carry
can you
ashes
swing by?
right here?
Okay.
Yeah, actually, I'll just walk you over there.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, Alex, I'll be 1 second with him.
All right,
1
take
minute
your
with
time.
him, actually.
This is my cousin. He's an OG from Houston. Oh, thanks, bro. This is Orlando. This is my cousin Jay. He's interested in Victory Outreach.
Oh, that's what's up, dog. Give me a second, I'll put you down.
Cool. So JJ's gonna buy him a sandwich, and he's gonna hook him up with Victory Outreach right now. So my cousin JJ's, he's Entourage. We call him Entourage around here. And he's an OG. He's been on before. You know, he was in that life for years, and now he's running his own business and doing his own thing. So we're going to get 3 people to leave being houseless and on the streets into a program today. And we've been out here for like 2 hours. And what it requires is, it just requires people getting out of their office space.
Well, I'm so sorry that happened, brother.
And actually doing some work.
They teach it in psychology, that third eye, your spiritual eye, so use it.
He was sharing with me, this is his friend
Amen.
who died
Yeah.
of fentanyl complications.
I've got his ashes around my neck.
So sorry,
Yeah,
bro.
a lot of people.
Yeah.
But this is also a reminder to him to stay clean.
It's good, bro.
But I'm just a good old boy, man. I love the South.
The gal across the street in the white shirt just lost her husband to fentanyl.
Hey, it's good to meet you, Mike.
Interesting. That's sad.
You're doing good. Hey, I'm doing awesome work.
Hey, man, thanks for talking
Take care,
to us.
Chris.
Thank you. All right, so this is just a regular foot patrol. We're not doing anything different than we would do anywhere else. We're just walking around Oldtown.
So many stories.
Yeah.
Like we can't even get more than 3 blocks and everybody has a story.
Yeah, the lady just across the street, Bach told us her husband, right, just overdosed on fentanyl.
And the
The
guy
lady-
we were just talking to is holding the ashes of his friend in a small vial who died of fentanyl overdose.
Ride Along Podcast. Today's awesome guest, Kevin Dahlgren. We call him the Houseless Whisperer. He's literally a genius. You've seen him work the streets today in Oldtown, Portland. We're also here with Michael Bach. Bach is, we call him like, he's basically the street commander of Echelon. You know, this neighborhood has historically housed about 10% of Portland's entire homeless population, around anywhere from 250 to 400 folks just live in this like 40, 50 block radius. And so as you've seen today, we made a lot of contacts. We were able to help 3 people transition. We met a guy named Orlando, just got out of penitentiary 5 days ago. He's going to Victory Outreach. We got Sam. Sam took a swing on Bach a couple days ago. We got him into Unity, which is a crisis center that day. He's going to be transitioning today and to Victory Outreach. And then we were able to get someone into Bybee Lakes. And Spencer's working on that. Spencer working with the street crew with Loa. And so I'll tell you, man, it's been a busy day. Kevin, what are your thoughts on this wrap up?
Well, amazing success stories today, and what it took was boots on the ground outreach, something
That's right.
I'm a big believer in. The Echelon model is daily contact. You're building that trust, building that rapport. A good dozen homeless approached you today and just hugged you because they know you, they like you, they trust you. That's what it takes. It's going to them, talking with them, getting to know them, building that rapport. Really an incredible day. While we saw a lot of tragedy, we also saw a lot of hope. We met people off the streets who were addicts. We met people that are really, really trying. And so yes, there's the chaos. It's easy to see the chaos, but in that chaos is also just a lot of hope. There's a lot of people who are holding on that small piece of hope.
That's right.
And that's what our job is. Our job is to help them maintain that hope or give them that hope back.
That's right.
And that's what you got to do. That is outreach. You know, we were out here for a couple hours. Seemingly, I think the only people out here doing this is certainly in this neighborhood.
We didn't see anybody else.
And of course, I have to ask, without mentioning names, where is everybody?
Yeah.
This is a legitimate crisis. We had a tree on fire an hour ago.
Yeah.
People are using around us left and right. This is a legitimate crisis, and my question is, why aren't we treating it like one? They are, I am, no, everyone else, maybe not so much.
Kevin, thanks for being on the ride along today. Bach, you're the best. I love riding with you. Thanks for letting us share your shift with you. And for anyone out there, take the Ride Along Challenge, Ride Along Podcast. If you want to come on, let us know, hit us up.